At the end of the day, all the really good stories, even the ones about sports, are love stories. That's what this is. It's a love story. Dennis Barrett came out of the projects in New Rochelle with nothing but a hunger to do something worthwhile, something that mattered. Then he found football, or football found him. Mostly he found a coach who showed him that because you were small or came from the projects, it didn't mean you had to be ordinary. He was never very big. Most of the time, he was the littlest player on the field. But as soon as he stepped into the huddle, he was the biggest guy there. He was a heck of an athlete, a tireless worker and a fierce competitor, an all-district wrestler at New Rochelle High School, and the quarterback on the football team. He was the perfect teammate, the prototypical captain, and he was one hell of a football player. He played with a lot of good players and a few who were great. In his junior year, they lost one game. The next year, they didn't lose any. New Rochelle's first undefeated team in 25 years. They were the best high school football team in New York State, and Barrett was a 5'5", 150-pound, all-county, all-state quarterback. And when he didn't even know he was looking, he found a calling. He watched his high school coach, Lou Amundsen, turn boys into men. Watched him get more out of some of them than they knew they wanted for themselves. And he thought to himself, gee, someday I'd like to be like him. It seemed like a good thing to do, maybe even a noble thing. At the University of Cincinnati, he got hurt almost before his college football career got started. And all that meant was that he got a head start on becoming a coach and came home with a graduate degree in football. He was 23 when he got a team of his own. His first day at Monsignor Farrell High School, the only thing Barrett knew about Staten Island was that it had a famous ferry. But he knew football, and he knew kids. He knew people. That was his gift. In his first season at Farrell, the Lions lost 3 games, and for as long as he was there, they never lost that many again. From the first day, his teams were better prepared than the other guys. They were better conditioned. They were more motivated, and not just on the days when one of his guys was running through a glass door at the end of the coach's halftime talk. But his game plan was simple. They have to know you love them, he said. And once they know you love them, then you can do anything with them. Barrett's kids knew. They believed, and they wanted to do it for him. He had some great players, a lot of great players, and some good ones who played great. Together, they won a ton of games. 6 times in his 13 seasons at Farrell, the Lions went undefeated. One year they gave up 6 points all season. Their first year in the Catholic Football League, they won the league, and then they won the Metro Bowl, which only confirmed what everybody already knew. Dennis Barrett's team was the best high school football team in New York City. When he went back to Cincinnati, it was to play the #1 high school team in the country, in front of 30,000 fans. Everybody noticed. The biggest college coaches in the country came calling. Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler, Joe Paterno. Paul Dietzel came by helicopter. Barrett sent his kids off to play at Michigan and Ohio State and Notre Dame, and a dozen other places that were only a little less famous. But he was always about more than football. Right from the start, he had a way of jumping into kids' lives and staying there for the rest of their lives. And sometimes beyond the grave. He was relentless when it came to helping kids. He taught them about loyalty and honor and courage, and about being there for each other, about being faithful men It didn't matter if a kid was a high school All-American or the last guy on the end of the bench. They were all part of the brotherhood. They were all his boys. When he'd won everything there was to win in high school, he took his convictions and some of his coaches to the Merchant Marine Academy, where that high school stuff wasn't supposed to work, and did it all over again. At Kings Point, the midshipmen already had a brotherhood. They needed something more than that from their football coach, and Barrett gave it to them. He took a team that hadn't won anything before he got there, and wound up winning more games than any coach at the academy ever had. Along the way, he didn't just coach kids, he coached coaches. One of them won a bunch of championships at Farrell. Another broke Barrett's records at Kings Point. Some of them wound up in the National Football League, and a lot of them did it because they wanted to be like him. They wanted to be like Dennis Barrett. When his Kings Point team lost a heartbreaker to the eventual national champions, the winning coaches marveled at the way Barrett's kids, some of them giving away 100 pounds a man, dominated so much of the game. "I don't know how they did that," one of them said, and then he stopped himself. "No," he said, "that's not true. I do know how they did it. They were inspired." One time or another, the little guy from the projects inspired all of us. Not just to be better football players or better coaches, but to be better people. Better husbands, fathers, brothers, better friends. Long after he walked away from the job and the title, he's still coaching. Still trying to save the world, one person at a time. He's still relentless when it comes to being there for his guys. And because this is the best kind of love story, one that has the advantage of being true, they'll be his guys forever.